What exactly is Hinduism? If you ask this question to a Hindu, probably he would flounder to give a straight simple answer. He could speak for hours about what Hinduism is all about, but never define it precisely in unambiguous words. Most would talk about set of cultural practices, myriad gods and their worship, mythologies, and what not. Some among them would confuse you by high sounding philosophical jargon which they themselves have never understood. And there are others who always think that it is their duty to reform others. So they tell you what Hinduism is not and how it can be reformed by proper religious training, exposure to high philosophy of Upanishads, and moving back to the originals, whatever that means. In India, religion, you may call it Hinduism if you so wish, is not really about straitjacketing into some ideology or the so called metaphysics or the hidden meanings, but it is actually in deep rooted value system. Religion is a wrong word in Indian context. It is called Dharma. Let me give two simple examples. There is an incident well picturized by the great Indian director G.B. Iyer in his Sanskrit movie on Shankaracharya. As per the depiction, once a thief climbs up a coconut palm to steal some coconuts. The palm belonged to an orthodox Nabudari Brahmin from South India. The Brahmin comes to know about this. He comes to the spot and sees the thief atop the tree. He ties his angavastram, a shawl worn by Hindu, to the coconut palm high up, while the thief is still up on the palm. Now the thief cannot escape, since he cannot cross the angavastram belonging to a Brahmin due to caste rules. Nor he can jump down from such a height. So he remains on the tree helplessly. The Brahmin returns home, fetches a plate full of food and a bunch of coconuts. He keeps the food and the coconuts below the palm, unties the angavastram from the palm, and asks the thief to get down. When the thief finally gets down, he offers him the food as well as the coconuts and advises him never to steal again. He even suggests that he should ask for them if he is really in need. The Brahmin is orthodox and practices untouchability, but that does not stop him from sympathizing with the needs of the thief that have forced him to become a thief. The Brahmin has no intention to punish the thief, but he only wants to correct him in his own way. This could well be a concocted story, but it speaks a lot about the value system that is at the heart of Hinduism. I have seen families of very orthodox Brahmins who often work for the welfare of poor and suffering people, crossing all the caste restrictions. In one such family, I have seen the members feeding the poor during the time of famine by opening up a free meal camp. These people are otherwise very orthodox. They rigidly practiced caste discrimination. But when it came to humanity, all bars were lifted. It is a different matter that there are many violations of this Dharma by pseudo-dharmics. This is where the real Hinduism is. It is not in high philosophy, nor in metaphysics, nor in digging out the hidden meanings, but in deep rooted values. Most Indians fortunately inherit this by birth. It is just that modern wild goose chase has taken them away from this basic value system, which till recently, and I believe even today, was with them to a large extent. That is what silently defines the Hinduness. This, if at all, needs to be taught in our schools and nurtured. Teaching philosophy, impart informal religious training, can only make one knowledgeable and to some extent considered, but can never instill the most important thing, namely the values. It is not true that India is in dire need for religious training, the religion as meant by Dharma that I have attempted to describe. There are many great Indians who are silently working on that. They may not be very visible nor they care for publicity. They silently do their job. That is the reason why Dharma still lives on in India thanks to such people who always keep a low profile